Hello, welcome back to yet another of these wonderful videos that I know you've been waiting so bloody long for. Today, I got a lot of response about my sort of exterior decorating, and I think I want to keep the red glass for now, partly because I can't be bothered to change it. I do need to find some hay bales for this, but what I'm mainly going to be doing in Minecraft today is fixing the roof of this, or fixing the house rather. But firstly, I'm bringing in something new into these videos. We are doing quiz of the week. Quiz of the week, even though I upload about every 2 weeks, still calling it quiz of the week, because recently I've gotten big into cryptic crosswords, and I've been loving it. It's what I spend a lot of my free time doing now, cryptic crosswords. So I've got a little bit of a riddle, if you will. It's not really a cryptic crossword clue, it's just a riddle. At the end of the video I'll tell you the answer, and so it'll keep you to the end. Isn't that clever? Right, listen. The farmer had a headache and said this after losing all his wheat. I'll say it one more time. The farmer had a headache and said this after losing all his wheat. And we'll come back to that at the end of the video, hopefully I don't forget. And I'll tell you the answer. So isn't that exciting? Alright, let's get straight in. So yeah, as I said, I've been doing a lot of cryptic crossword sort of stuff lately, and it's been a lot of fun. You know, and even though I'm still not very good at it, it's still satisfying to just have a go, and even if you just get one correct clue, as it were, it's still extremely satisfying. But first, I am going to enchant these boots. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of cryptic crosswords, and I've been doing especially the minute cryptic, if you've seen that on the internet, and that is a lot of fun. I haven't gone breaking, but it's fine. Yeah, so we haven't got mending or unbreaking on the boots. Hell, we haven't got unbreaking on the helmet. So I reckon if I have time today, then I'll get some villagers going as well. But yeah, and another thing, a little update. I have got to the next stage of the interviews for one of the main unis that I wanted to go to, which I probably shouldn't say on the internet, so I won't. So that's been a bit of good news, and I'm on a holiday right now. I'm on holiday, on a break, as it were, not a vacation per se. So, and so I'm jubilant. You know, I'm in a happy mood. And yeah, I'm gonna get some wood, if you're wondering. Another thing that I was sort of thinking to talk about is I got a real sense of sort of, I don't know, it was hopelessness yesterday when I was just thinking, because I mentioned in past videos, I'm pretty sure, about my potential aspirations to get into politics. And it's just seeing the sort of big divides, both on the right and in the left, really does make me think, you know, are we too far gone? Is Britain and the world, as it were, is it too far gone? Have we drifted so far into extremism on both sides that there's really no point in trying to save all? Because at what point does the human race look around and sort of pull itself out of the situation? You know, when you sort of, I don't know, you're doing something, and then, I don't know, let's say you're drunk, you've been drinking, and you do something, and then you sort of pull yourself out of the situation, and you just think, what I'm doing right now is absolutely ridiculous. What am I doing? What am I doing with myself? Just sort of one of those moments. Surely one looks around at the world, looks around at the lack of care that the man, seems to have for his fellow man. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, because of the fact that we as people seem to turn a blind eye to the suffering of our fellow man, is perhaps an indication to me that we're too far gone. Anyway, you know, and everyone sort of wants to have a feeling that, you know, well, not everyone, but a lot of people, including me, have a feeling that, you know, I'll be the one to make a difference. But it's impossible to get to the top of politics and to have a influence and say in this world without being corrupt. by getting to the top, you are inherently a liar. You know? And that's not necessarily the people's fault, because perhaps the people get into it because they really think they can make a difference too, and that's a respectable aspiration. But it's the whole political world is so corrupt, inherently corrupt, that it's unchangeable, and that's the way it is. Which makes me sort of think maybe I don't want to get into politics because I don't want to disrupt my moral compass. I don't know if that's a correct phrase, but yeah, sort of scary, isn't it? But yeah, instead of taking this down and building it up again, which is what I was thinking of doing, I'm just going to put another floor, because I can't be bothered to do it the other way. So let's build this up, shall we? And I quite like the balcony as well. Like, look at that view. I mean, that beats views from the likes of Kilimanjaro, Everest, and indeed Ben Nevis. You know, it doesn't get any better than this. Right, so we'll build it up one floor for now, I reckon. Or we could go two. Oh, we could just go mental and go two, you know. I'm gonna do that. I've been, well, this makes it sound like I'm doing it often, but I was playing a bit of Bed Wars. If you're familiar with Hypixel Bed Wars on the server Hypixel, it's something I've not done for about 4 years, and I played a bit of that lately, and it was good fun. It's nice to reminisce on the enjoyments you had when you were younger, you know. It's fun stuff. But anyway, we're gonna need a lot of glass. And I have a lot of red glass, but I think I can't use red glass on my house. That's just sacrilegious. So we're gonna get a bit of sand. But yeah, it might have been the third, fourth video I mentioned a television show called The Thick of It, and in one of the last episodes, Malcolm Tucker goes on a sort of speech, a monologue, if you will, where he says, "It's just something about a political class that has abandoned,
which has given up on morality
and
simply pursues popularity
That isn't
at all
his exact
costs."
words, but he says something to that effect. And it's so true. There is no morality in politics. There is no morality in politics. It's all about popularity, you know? It's sort of scary, isn't it? And the only way to succeed in politics really nowadays is to just be a populist, no? You see that all around the world. But anyway, political hopelessness aside, personally I'm doing alright, I think. I mean, I said I was, and I am. The only thing is every now and then you sort of just have just strangely, not deep thoughts, but just thoughts in it where you're like, whoa, I don't usually think about this, why am I thinking about this all of a sudden? And the other day I just suddenly got a thought of, what is the point of it all? What is the point of working my life out to pay off a hardly affordable mortgage, to live a slightly mediocre life, and then die at the age of 75, having spent most of my life working in a job that I probably didn't enjoy? But I don't know, one gets those thoughts every now and then, but it's not that deep, is it, you know? Everything will be fine. I've always been a big fan of brutalist architecture. Do you know what I mean? I really quite like it. So when you look back on sort of Soviet era buildings and what they built back then, politics aside, I'm a big fan of the buildings, especially like the apartment buildings, just lines of them. I don't know why, but I quite like it. It's by no means pretty, but it had a sort of charm to it, do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Right, and we are going to make a couple more levels to this balcony as well, because I think multiple balconies will give us different views, different perspectives, if you will, which I think is a very healthy thing to have in life, is is the ability to have multiple perspectives on something. So we're going to do that as well. And there we go. We've got a beautiful view from up here. Sorry, I've been really locked in. I really haven't been talking, but we've got a beautiful view from up here. A crafting table there. We can go on the roof if we need to mend something. Got a beautiful view from this floor too. Kind of like this. Lovely. He says tentatively. And a beautiful view from the ground floor too. Brilliant stuff. Let's see how it looks from outside. I'm a really big fan of that. It's like a hotel. Now with the interior design of this building, I think I can focus on that another time, or indeed do that off camera, because I'm awful with interior design, so it'd be such a tedious watch, as if this hasn't been. But yeah, I'll actually take Timothy, which I think was the name of my horse. If I've gotten that wrong, do let me know, because I'm not going to go back and watch the most recent video, because I can't be bothered, and honestly they're just not that good quality, so I don't enjoy watching them. That of course is a joke. My videos are extremely good quality. Actually it's probably some of the best videos out there. It's not really worth watching anything else apart from my videos. I'm going to build a bridge, because I can't be bothered to have the horse constantly failing to cross this bit. Look at that. Now that's design. I don't know why I didn't go into engineering. I seriously considered it, and I should have done. Let's go and see if we can exploit a few of these old fellas. Alright, lecterns have been made. Wow, okay, that's mending sorted. That was about 1,000,000 times quicker than I thought I'd get it here. Bloody expensive, but I'll take it. Okay. What's missing on my armor? Yes, it is. I'm breaking 3. Breaking 3. 38 emeralds. It's better than... It's fine. What? Oh, I didn't lock in the trade. Oh no. Oh god, let me at least lock in the unbreaking guy. This has already lost his. Nope, he has. Bollocks, that's completely my fault too. I forgot that you need to lock in the trade. Damn it. Okay. Back to work then. And another thing that I was talking about last video was sort of I think the phrase I used was the inevitable lonely future that is before me. But at the end of the day, I think I've gotten more hope. One day that perhaps, hopefully, there will be someone. And I believe that, there is... Whatever it is, whatever I'm worrying about, whether it is future partner, whether it is future job, whether it is how I'm going to live in the future, how things are going to work out. Whatever it is with the future, I needn't be worried. Because there is 14 for unbreaking. I'll have one of those. Thank you. Right, you're going to be my unbreaking guy, and then the other guy can be my mending guy. Whatever it is, there is a plan. There is a plan. There's a verse in the Bible in Jeremiah that goes on about a plan for tomorrow. So as long as you put your faith in the right places, put your faith in God, tomorrow will turn out all right. That's what I've been thinking. So it's pointless for me to worry about the future, about something so banal as that. Because I remember one of the first times I actually shed tears, one of the first times I cried in front of someone. 14! Wow! One of the first times I cried in front of someone was was because I was in a tent, it was at a camp, and I started spontaneously just thinking, like, I am so scared of not being in control of the future. I think the words I said at the time were not knowing, not having the future, there we go, the future not going the way that I want it to. I was so scared of not being in control that I actually cried over it. But thinking back, thinking about that now, I feel so much happier releasing myself from the concerns of tomorrow. It's so much more freeing, you know? Anyway, moving on to the next thing, something that I haven't really been doing enough of lately is watching TV or film. And this is not because I've got a lack of recommendations. I've got multiple friends recommending to me things that I'm sure are absolutely fantastic. But I for some reason lack the willpower to actually watch stuff. I don't know why, whether I may have got commitment issues. I struggle with the commitment of sitting down and watching a television show. But it's something that I really want to do, and every time I think about it, I think, God, I've got to get back to watching shit, watching stuff. And then I never end up doing it. So maybe this video I can use as sort of a vow to oneself to say, I am gonna start watching stuff again. Because it's fun. It's great fun. Why not? But what film? Oh yes, it would have been 2 weeks ago. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but I'll mention it now. I watched a Korean film called No Other Choice, and by Jove was it good. It was majorly snubbed at the Oscars, much to my chagrin, because I'm very patriotic about being Korean. But that's by the by. But it's about a man who loses his job and sort of finds a creative way, you could say, to eliminate his competition for a new job, if you catch my drift. But oh my gosh, it was biting satire on what capitalism, if you will. But yeah, if you haven't watched it already, I definitely recommend it. It's by, for God's sake, it's by a guy. The director's a guy called Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook, who is he's a legend in Korea. He's one of the greatest Korean filmmakers, along with Bong Joon-ho, one of the greatest Korean filmmakers in history. Yeah. Oh, it was so good. The soundtrack, the cinematography was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. I loved it. Have you still not got bloody update your bloody trade, son? Oh, there we go. I mean, I used to be a big film guy. It was a few years ago, it was when I was in my film prime, if you will. I watched so many films. I'd stay up every night. And, oh God, okay, we're going to talk about this. I went through a bad stage in my life. Every night, I'd stay up till like 5 a.m. and I'd play this godforsaken game called Valorant. And that's sort of what destroyed my mental health. I went through a real dark time, about 2 or so years of real confusion about myself, about what was going on, very, very much hopelessness. But yeah, and that was probably bad. But that was caused by me staying up every night and playing a game called Valorant, and it was lonely. It was because I was so alone in my own dark place, and I wasn't talking to anybody about it. I was sort of just dwelling inside my own brain, inside my own problems. It was bad. But I swapped out that addiction for another addiction, as I do often, which was films, which I'd argue is probably a healthier addiction. And that was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. And one of the first films I watched when I started when I started watching films properly was a film called Uncut Gems. And oh my days. That film, if you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. It's got Adam Sandler in it, but it's not a comedy film, it's drama. And that had my stress shooting through the roof. It was such a good film. I need to watch it again, but oh my gosh. It's about a jewellery salesman, I think, who makes... He's a bit of a gambling addict. But, yeah, it's damn good. Speaking of gambling, I went to a casino for the first time the other day, lost 20 quid. Speed of light it was. 20 quid, fastest 20 quid I've ever lost. It was awful. But I loved it, it was fun. And I just need mending for this pickaxe. Okie dokie. And then I think after that, there's another film I absolutely recommend. It's a film, I haven't watched it because it's not been on any streaming services for a while. I don't know why I say that, like I watch all my films legally. I recommend a website called Hydra HD if you want to watch films. It's a bit dodgy, probably unsafe, but hey, it's better than a poke with a sharp stick. A film called Vanilla Sky it's got Tom Cruise in it and Penelope Cruz as well. Though their surnames are spelt differently. I can hardly remember what it was about because I remember watching it. I watched two films in two concurrent nights. One of them was American Beauty, which was weird but kind of good. And the other one was Vanilla Sky. And Vanilla Sky is still in my top 10, I think. But some very egotistical guys, very good looking. Sort of gets his face smashed up in a car accident. Sort of goes into that, and it's a weird... I mean, my brief synopsis there hasn't done it remotely justice in any way, shape or form. But it is so good. It is so good. I love films. Films that make you think are the best. Which is why The Truman Show is my favourite film of all time. Oh, God. I first watched that when I was probably about 7. And I've loved it ever since. I mean, everything from the religious imagery to the score to the acting. The acting's so bloody good. I'll never forgive the Oscars for not giving Jim Carrey even a nomination for that when he won the Golden Globe for best actor in a motion picture drama. I mean, the Oscars sometimes, I tell you, that aren't they crazy? Mind you, the Oscars is on soon, I think. I have to watch it. I stay up to watch the Oscars every year. I did like it when Conan O'Brien hosted it. That was really fun. It was probably the best in a while. I'm a big fan of Conan. I think seems to be a decent fella. But hey, the thing with celebrities is you don't know them personally. You never know if they're good people or not. I mean, you see a lot of people sort of... I think I said this in a recent video, just idolising celebrities, which is a bit scary. And I say that like I don't do it myself. But sort of celebrity idolisation is one of the scariest things, I think. Oh no, I accidentally got 2. Did I accidentally get 2? Or did I already have one and I missed it and I'm really drunk? I don't know. I'll put on the screen right now what went on, whether I got 2 or whether I'm just really stupid. But anyway, we've got a spare mending book, which isn't a bad thing. You know, I unironically quite like, for God's sake, quite like how that looks. I just probably need a better roof, to be honest. I wonder how high this could go. It's going to be like a Tower of Babel sort of thing. If you're familiar with that. Like that old story from the Bible. And for those of you thinking about the banner placement, you can see it quite nicely there. Oh, for God's sake. Hate baby zombies. Despise them. Let's put mending on the pickaxe. Let's name the pickaxe too. What should we name it? Called as Richard. I think we call this one Robert. Richard and Robert. Lovely. So look at us. We're kitted out, aren't we? Got efficiency 5 and breaking 3 and mending. Sharpness and breaking, mending. Protection 4 and breaking 3 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 mending. Looking good, aren't we? Looking bloody good. I'm going to give the answer to the cryptic clue that I gave earlier, which, to remind you, was the farmer had a headache and said this after losing all his wheat. The answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 was migraine. Because he had a migraine headache and he also lost his wheat. Migraine. So if you got that, let me know down in the comments below, and next week we might have another sort of cryptic clue sort of thing, or another sort of quiz of the week, but this is going to be a new feature, which I'm very much looking forward to doing. And yeah, the inspiration for the sort of cryptic clue thing I got from my favourite celebrity is Carl Pilkington, who I've mentioned in a past video, because he used to do things on the radio show, and I'm quite liking the idea of like a radio show sort of format for this. So I'm gonna think about more quizzes, more games to do during the video to keep you entertained, and maybe we can have up to perhaps even like three games, sort of quizzes per video. I don't know, this is just me brainstorming, but I was a really big fan of Quiz of the Week this week, as I'm sure many of you were too. So yeah, look out for that in the future. This barnstorming feature. Look at that, isn't that bloody hell? You'd honestly think that you were on a real life farm. Mind you, I haven't called this place anything. I should get a sign and I should give this place a sort of name, shouldn't I? South Megrenia. South Megrenia, what a name. And then which way is north? That way the village can be in North Megrenia. And then west is that way, kind of West Megrenia. And then down, this is even further south. So we could, I don't know, we could call this, I don't know what we can call this, the valley of, we could just call it Megrenia Valley. But yeah, South Megrenia. Need to get a name tag in the future for Timothy. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. Short and sweet, eh? This will probably be under 20 minutes when I edit it. But thank you for watching. Have a great day, night, morning, evening. Lots of love to you all. And there's a zombie somewhere. I'll deal with that. Farewell.